We continue now at the top of Daf Ches in Mesechet Sanhedrin. This is Sanhedrin Daf 98a. On the previous summit, there was an argument between Rabbi Yoshua and Rabbi Eliezer whether teshuvah is necessary for the redemption to come. And Rabbi Yoshua is in the middle of bringing a pasuk from Yeshayahu. The pasuk says, "Malachim yiru," the kings will see, v'kamu, when they'll get up, sarim, the princes, v'yishtachavu, and they will bow. And we'll take a look at Rashi on the previous summit. Rashi on the previous summit explains the idea from the pasuk is Ko amar Hashem levizon nefesh lemesoiv goy. Those who are despised. It means to say osan habezuyin umisoavin. Those who are despised, but averos, with averos. Afal pichein, nevertheless, yigalu malachim yiru v'kamu. Nevertheless, they will be redeemed. The kings will see and they will arise. And so, therefore, again, Rabbi Yehoshua is telling Rabbi Eliezer teshuvah does not seem necessary for the redemption. And the Gemara continues, Amar lo Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer says to Rabbi Yoshua, Avalo kvar nemar, but doesn't it already say in the pasuk in Yirmiyahu, Im tashav Yisrael num Hashem Elai tashav? It talks about, again, repentance, teshuvah is necessary for the redemption. And the Gemara continues, Amar lo Rabbi Yoshua. Rabbi Yoshua says to him, to Rabbi Eliezer, V'halo kvar nemar, isn't it already written in Sefer Daniel? Voeshva esoish levush habadim, and I listened to the man who was wearing linen. Asher mimal meimei hayor, who was above the waters of the river. Vayorem yemino usmolo el hashamayim, he lifted his right hand and his left hand to the heavens. Vayishava b'chai ha'olam, and he swore by the one who lives forever. Ki lemoed moadim v'chetzi, it will be for a period and periods and a half a period. Uchechalos, and when it is completed, napetz yadam kodesh, crushing the power of the holy nation. Techlena kolela, all of these things will be finished. And Rashi explains, Uchechalos napetz yadam kodesh kishetichla tekumasam v'chozek yedehem, when their strength is finished. Shahaisa nefutza elech ve'elech gevura v'toeles lifshot ona v'yona, they had the strength to go in all these different directions. V'achar shetichla gevurasam, when that might is no longer, shu shvelim lema'o, that they will be very low. So then techlena elu hatzaros, then the tzaros are going to stop, the afflictions are going to stop. V'yavo Mashiach, and Mashiach will come. Kedamrinan, as we said, ki ozlas yod, that at the time when they are weak, that's when the redemption will come. And the Gemara continues, V'shasak Rabbi Eliezer. At this point, Rabbi Eliezer was silent. He could not respond to Rabbi Yoshua's argument. And the Gemara continues, V'yamar Rabbi Abba, and Rabbi Abba says, Ein loch kates megula mizeh, there is no more revealing sign that the end is coming than the following. It's a pasuk in Yechezkel shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, V'yatem hore Yisrael, you the mountains of Israel, anpechem titenu, give your branches, ufer yechem tiso, and give forth your fruits, la'ami Yisrael, to the nation of Klal Yisrael. And Rashi explains, Megula mizeh keshetite in Eretz Yisrael piria, when Eretz Yisrael will give its fruits be'ein yaf, in a generous manner, ozi yikrav hakates, then you know that the end is coming. Ve'ein lach kates megula yoser, there's no more of a revealing sign than this. And the Gemara continues, Rebbe Lazar Omer, Rebbe Lazar says, Af mizeh, also from this, from the following pasuk, a pasuk in Zechariah, Shenamar, as it says in the pasuk, Ki lifnei hayom mohem, before these days, schar ha'adam lo niyah, there's not going to be any higher of people, u'schar ha'behema inana, there's not going to be any higher of animals, and for those who exit and those who enter, there is no peace, min hatzar, from the enemy. And Rashi explains, Rabbi Eliezer Omer mizeh pasuk, from the following pasuk, kishatira de'ein shum adam mistaker, when you see that no one's being hired, no person is being hired, v'af schar ha'behema lo niyah, and also no animals, v'hainu kedamrin, that's like we said earlier, at shetichla pruta min hakis, that there's not going to be any more money in the purses, ein mos mitzuyos bakis, there's no money that's found in the purse. Schar behema means avodas ha'adam she'al yedei behema inena, the working of the land which is done through animals, when that's not happening anymore. V'layotze v'lavo in shalom, and for those who exit and those who enter, there is no peace. So then yavo Mashiach will come. And the Gemara continues, Ma'ila yotze v'laba in shalom and atzar. What does it mean when the pasuk says, for those who exit and those who enter, there's no peace from the oppressor? Rav Amarav says, Af talmidei chachamim. What it means is, even talmidei chachamim, shakasov b'hem shalom, it's written about them peace. Techsib, because it's written in the pasuk in Tehillim, shalom rav leohave sorasecha, there's great peace for those who love your Torah. Ein shalom mipnei tzar, even for them, there is no peace from the oppressor. Ushmuel Amar, and Shmuel says, Ad sheyiu kol hasharim kulan shkulan, it means until all of the prices are equal. And Rashi explains, Shalom Rav, a great peace, V'hainu v'layotze v'laba, that's the reference to those who exit and those who enter. Eile talmidei chachamim, these are the talmidei chachamim, osam shayadinam lotzes v'lavu b'shalom, those who are supposed to exit and enter in peace. Kedechsev Shalom Rav leohavei sorasecha, afilu lahanu, even to those, ein shalom, there's not going to be any peace, min hatzar, meirov hatzaras, because of the many afflictions, lishnachrina mi yetzer hara, or another explanation of min hatzar, it means there's not going to be peace from the yetzer hara. And then the other explanation, what Shmuel said, all of the prices are shkulin, they're all equal. Rashi says, Shavin sharatvua v'yayin revacha keda amron chamisha sova gadol, means again the prices are equal, meaning to say there's a great plenty. Rashi then says, Lishnachrin, another explanation, shkulin shavin, shekulin yakarin. Shkulin might mean that they are all expensive. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Chanina says, Ein ben David ba, the son of David will not come, ad sheyisbakesh dog l'chol, until people are seeking a fish for the ill, v'lo yimatze, and it will not be found. Shenemar, as it says in the Pasuk, this is a Pasuk in Yechezkel, oz ashgia meimehem v'naharosam kashem and olich, their waters will be clear, the rivers will go like oil, v'chasav, and then it's written by Yomahu, on that day, atzmiach keren leves Yisrael, I will cause the glory of the house of Israel to flourish. And Rashi explains, Keshem and Olich, the water is going to flow like oil, Shiu Kulan Kefuyin, it's all going to be congealed, V'kevan Shehem Kefuyin, and since that's the case, Ein Dogim Nimson B'chika, you're not going to have any fish, and that's why they won't be able to find fish for the sick. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Chama bar Chanina says, Ein ben David ba, the son of David will not come, ad shetichla malchus hazolam Yisrael, until the contemptuous rulership will be destroyed from Klal Yisrael. Rashi explains that shetichla malchus hazolam means shelo tehei lohem shum shultanos liYisrael, that Klal Yisrael will have no rulership whatsoever, they will have no power whatsoever, afilu shultanos kala v'dala, even the smallest amount of rulership, the smallest amount of power, only when that power completely ceases will ben David ba, will the Mashiach come. Shenemar, as it says in the Pasuk, this is a Pasuk in Yeshayahu, the choras hazal zalim b'mazmeros, and the sprigs will be cut with the pruning hook, suchsib basrei, and it's written after that, bo'esahi, at that time, yuval shai la'Hashem tzavokos, a present will be brought to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, am memushach umorat, by a people scattered and hairless. And the Gemara continues, Amar Zeiri, Amar Rabbi Chanina. Zeiri says that Rabbi Chanina says, Ein ben David ba, ben David will not come ad sheyichlu gasei haruach mi Yisrael, until the arrogant cease to exist in Klal Yisrael. Shenemar, as it says in the Pasuk, this is a Pasuk in Tzefanya, Ki az osir mikir bechalize gavosech, it says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to remove those who are proud, those who are arrogant, tuchsiv, and it's also written in the Pasuk in Tzefanya, Ve'esharti bikir becham oni v'dol v'chosu b'shem Hashem, what will remain is a nation that is poor and low, who take refuge in the name of Hashem. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Simloi, Mishum Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Simloi says in the name of Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, Ein ben David ba, ben David will not come, ad sheyichlu kol shoftim v'shotrim Yisrael, until there ceases to be judges and officers in Klal Yisrael. Shenemar, as it says in the Pasuk, this is a Pasuk in Yeshayahu, V'yashiva yadi alayich, I will turn my hand against you, V'yetzrov kibor sigayich, and I will smelt your dross away as with lie, V'yashiva shoftayich, and I will restore your judges. And the Gemara continues, Amar Ula says, Ein Yerushalayim niftis ela b'tzedakah, Yerushalayim will only be redeemed with righteousness, Shenemar, as it says in the Pasuk in Yeshayahu, Tzion b'mishpat tifta, Tzion with justice will be redeemed, v'shaveh, and those who return to it, b'tzedakah with righteousness. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rav Papa says, I batli yehiri, if the arrogant cease to exist, batli amgushe, then the sorcerers will cease to exist as well. And Rav Papa continues, I batli dayani, if the judges, the corrupt judges, if they cease to exist, batli gezirfati, then the royal officers, the taskmasters, they also will cease to exist. And Rashi explains, Yehire Gasei Ruach Mi Yisrael, again the arrogant ones from Klal Yisrael, Amgushe, is the Parsiim Mechashvin, it's the Persian sorcerers, Shemitzarin Yisrael, that they afflict Klal Yisrael, and Gezirfati is Shoftim Ovdei Kochavim, that's the Shoftim of the Ovdei Kochavim, the judges of the Ovdei Kochavim, Hachovtin as Yisrael B'maklos, that they strike Klal Yisrael with their sticks. And the Gemara continues, Batla Yehiri Batla Amgushe, if the arrogant ones, if they cease to exist, then the sorcerers will cease to exist. Tichsiv, as it's written in the Pasuk we quoted above, V'yetzrov kivor sigayich v'yasira kol b'dilayich. And Rashi explains the drasha, V'yetzrov kivor sigayich means Rabbim u'gedolim begasusam, those who are great in their arrogance, Kishe etzrov ve'esalke mimcha, means when I remove them from you, Azai asira kol b'dilayich, then I'll remove kol b'dilayich, which again here is a reference to the sorcerers. And the Gemara continues, Batli dayane, and if the judges, the corrupt judges cease to exist, then batli gezirfati, then the officers, the royal officers will also cease to exist. Tichsiv, as it's written in the Pasuk, Heiser Hashem mishpatayich, it says HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to remove mishpatayich, again that refers to the corrupt judges, and the Pasuk goes on to say, Pina oivech, the Pasuk in Tzefanya goes on to say, then your enemies, they will be removed as well. And Rashi explains, mishpatayich kamo shoftayich, again it means like your judges, then then pano oivech, then your enemies are going to be removed, which we understand to mean gezirfati. Again, we understand that to mean the royal officers and taskmasters. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, if you see a generation that is diminishing, then you should await it, you should await the Mashiach, shenemar, as it says in the Pasuk in Sefer Shmuel, Ves Amoni Toshia, the Amoni, the poor nation, that's the one that you will save. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, Imreisa Dor Shetzaros Rabos Boos Olav, if you see a generation that great afflictions come upon it, Kanohar, like a river, Chakelo, so then you should await it, you should await the Mashiach. Shenemar, as it says in the Pasuk, this is a Pasuk in Yeshayahu, Ki Yavo Kanar Tsar, the afflictions will come like a river, Ruach Hashem Nosasabo, driven by the Spirit of Hashem, V'samach and near that it says, Uvola Tzion Goel, to Tzion will come a Redeemer. And the Gemara continues, V'yamar Rabbi Yochanan, and Rabbi Yochanan says, Ein ben David ba ela bedor shakulo zakai o kulo chayev. The Mashiach is only going to come in a generation that's either totally innocent or totally guilty. Bedor shakulo zakai, in a generation that's totally innocent, tichsiv, because it's written in the pasuk in Yeshayahu, V'yamech kulam tzadikim liolam yer shuaretz. It says, your nation is all righteous, they'll inherit the earth. And bedor shakulo chayev, in a generation that's totally chayev, that's totally liable, tichsiv, as it's written in the pasuk, Vayar ki ein ish vayishtomem kein mafkia. It says there was no man, means to say there was no righteousness. And it's written also in the pasuk in Yeshayahu, Lamani es, I will do for my sake. And so again you see that Rabbi Yochanan is saying, either in a generation that's kulo zakai, or in a generation that's kulo chayiv, that's when the redemption will come. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Alexandri says, Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi Rami, Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi has the following contradiction in the pasuk. Ksiv, it's written in the pasuk in Yeshayahu, Be'ita, in its time, the redemption will come in its time. Uchsiv, but it's also written Achishena, that I will hasten it. It sounds like it's gonna come before the appointed time. And the Gemara continues and answers, Zachu, if they merit Achishena, so then I will hasten it. Lo Zachu, but if they do not merit, then Be'ita, then it's going to come in its time. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Alexandri says, Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi Rami, Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi has the following contradiction in Psukim. Ksiv, it is written in the pasuk in Sefer Daniel, Va'aru emanonei shemaya kavar enosh osa. It says that the redemption is going to come like the clouds of the heavens. Uchsib, but it's also written in the pasuk. This is a pasuk in Sefer Zechariah. The pasuk says, Ani v'rochev al chamor, that it's going to come like a poor person who's riding on a donkey. And the Gemara answers, Zachu, if they merit it, im anonei shemaya, then it's going to come with the clouds of the heavens. But lo Zachu, if they do not merit, then Ani rochev al chamor, then the redemption is going to be like a poor person riding on a donkey. And the Gemara continues, Amar le Shavor Malka Shmuel, King Shapur said to Shmuel, Amrisu, they say, Mashiach al Chamra Asi, that Mashiach is going to come on a donkey. Ishta le Susya Barka Disli, I'll give him instead a riding horse that I have. Amar le said back to him, Mislach Bar Chivor Gavni, do you have one that's of 1,000 colors, meaning even your greatest horse will not compare to the donkey of Mashiach. And the Gemara continues, Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi Ashkach Leilio Davakaimi Apischa de Ma'arta de Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, he found Elio Navi was standing at the entrance of the cave of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. Amar Lei said to him, Asina li al medasi, am I going to merit the world to come? Amar Lei said to him, Im yirtza adon hazeh, if this master wants it, then you will merit it. Amar Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi said, Shnayim ra'isi, I just see two people over here, I see myself and you, Elio Navi. However, v'kol gimel shamati, but I hear the voice of three, meaning the Shechina is here with us as well. That's what it means when he says, if this master, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu wills it, then you will come to the world to come. And the Gemara continues, Amar Lei, he said to him, Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi said to Elio Navi, Eimas asi Mashiach, when is Mashiach coming? Amar Lei said to him, Zil shaile lididei, go ask him himself. And the Gemara continues, he asked him, V'hecha Yosef, where is he sitting? Where can I find Mashiach? And he answered, Apischa de Karta, at the entrance of the city. The Gra has the Gersa of Apischa de Romi, at the entrance of Rome. And the Gemara continues, Umay Simone, and what is his sign? And the Gemara says, Yosef v'beinei aniyei sovlei choloim. The way you can find him is he's sitting among the poor people who are full of illnesses. V'kulan sharu v'asirei b'chad zimna. And everybody, all of the rest of them, they take off, they unbind, and they bind their bandages all at once. They take them all off, they clean the area, and they put them all back on. But Iyu shari chad v'yosr chad, but he does one at a time. And why does he do one at a time? Amar, he says, Dilma Mavina, maybe I'll be needed to Lo Yaakov. I don't want to be held up, that I have to put all the bandages back on, and so therefore he undoes and reties one bandage at a time. And the Gemara continues, Azal Lagabe. The Gemara says, Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, he went to Mashiach. Amar Le, and he said to him, Shalom Alecha, Rabbi Yomori. He said, Shalom Aleichem, my Rebbe. Amar Le, he said back to him, Shalom Alecha bar Levoi. He said back to him, Shalom Alecha, the son of Levoi, referring to Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. Amar Le, so Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi said to him, Le'imas Osimar, when is the master coming? Amar Le, he said back to him, Hayom, I'm coming today. And the Gemara continues, Asa Lagabe Elio, so Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, he went back to Elio Navi. Amar Le said to him, My Amar Lach, what did he say to you? Amar Le said to him, Shalom Alecha bar Levoi. He said to me the words, Shalom Alecha bar Levoi. Amar Le said back to him, he's guaranteeing you that both you and your father, by calling you the son of Levi, both you and your father will merit the world to come. And the Gemara continues, Amar Le, he said to him, he said to Eliyahu Navi, Shekure kashakarbi, but he lied to me. The Amar Le, because he said to me, Hayom wasina, that I'm coming today, Veloasan, he didn't come today. Amar Le said to him, Hachi Amar Lach, this is what he's saying to you, Hayom ime bekolo sishmo, he's going to come today if you listen to his voice. And the Gemara continues, Shalu Talmidav es Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma, the students of Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma, they asked him the following question, Eimosai ben David, when is the son of David going to come? Amar, he said, Misyare ani, I'm afraid, Shemet tavakshu many os, that if I tell you, maybe you're going to ask me for some kind of sign. Amar lo, they said to him, Ein anu mevakshin mimcha os, we will not request a sign from you. Amar lu, so he said to them, L'cheshayipol hashar hazeh, when this gate falls, v'yivn and it's rebuilt, v'yipol and it falls, v'yivn and it's rebuilt, v'yipol and it falls, v'ein maspikin livnoso, and they're not able to rebuild it again, ad sheben David ba, they're not going to be able to rebuild it again until the son of David comes. Amar lo, they said to him, Rabbeinu, our Rebbe, ten lanuos, give us a sign. Amar Lemi said to them, V'lokach amartem, didn't you say to me, she'einatem mevakshin mimenios, that you're not going to ask for a sign from me? Amar lo, they said to him, V'yaf al piche, nevertheless we want a sign. And the Gemara continues, Amar Lahemi said to them, Im kach, if so, yehafchu me mo'aras pamayis ledam, it's when the waters of the cave of Pamayis, when they turn to blood. And the Gemara comments, V'nefchu ledam, they actually did turn to blood. And the Gemara continues, B'shas petiraso, at the time of his death, this is referring to the time of the death of Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma, Amar Leni said to them, to the students, Hamiku li aroni, when you bury my coffin, bury that coffin deep in the ground. And Rashi explains, Hashar Hazeh, again he said, when this gate falls, Shal Ir Romi, talking about the gate of Rome, Shabi Ir Romi Haya Os Hashar, that's where the gate was, Ve'ein Maspikin Livnoso Pam Shlishas, and they won't be able to rebuild it the third time, and again then Mashiach is going to come, Mei Pamayis, he said, or the waters of Pamayis, Sheyardein Novea Mimenu, that was the cave that the Yardein flowed from. And Rashi continues, Hamiku Aroni Osuli Kever Bekarko Amuk, put my coffin very deep in the ground, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Tzadi Ches Amid Beis.